Every day I walk to work through historic Francis Quadrangle on the University of Missouri campus at Columbia, so I decided to explore what this special place reveals about Missouri life. Francis Quadrangle Historic District is listed on the National Register of Historic Places, our nation's official list of cultural resources worthy of preservation. The oldest, most monumental example of the campus quadrangle form in Missouri, it signifies the University of Missouri as the first state university west of the Mississippi River. That's the official version, anyway. If we look closely enough at Francis Quadrangle, however, we see Missouri's revolutionary roots are showing. The bronze statue of Thomas Jefferson on Francis Quadrangle by sculptor George Lundeen signifies the revolutionary quality of Jefferson's vision that radically transformed Missouri life. Jefferson believed political independence depended upon good citizens with the information and knowledge needed for wise decisions. Therefore, in drafting his Northwest Ordinance for land subdivision, Jefferson set aside land for a public university in each new state like Missouri entering the Union. Following the Missouri Compromise, Jefferson wrote in 1822, "I still look to the diffusion of light and education as the resource most to be relied on for ameliorating the conditions, promoting the virtue, and advancing the happiness of man." The 1839 Legislative Act that established the University of Missouri embodied that bold vision. Thomas Jefferson envisioned an academical village of faculty and students designing the future through open, honest research and discussion. He implemented his ideas at the University of Virginia, where the building symbolized traditional knowledge and wisdom, and the Green Mall represented the openness of the new nation. The University of Missouri imitated that plan, and here, I am daily reminded, we need our extraordinary heritage to balance the relentless demands of growth and progress in our communities. G.K. Chesterton said tradition is the democracy of the dead. They, too, share in this dialogue. The limestone columns on historic Francis Quadrangle anchor this dialogue. They once supported the portico of Academic Hall, the first building on the University of Missouri campus, in the classical revival style that Jefferson advocated for American architecture. Old Academic Hall was built between 1840 and 1843 from plans by A. Stephen Hills, who also designed the first Missouri state capitol at Jefferson City, also known as the City of Jefferson. The limestone was obtained from nearby Hinkson Creek Valley and hauled to the building by ox-drawn carts. On January 9, 1892, fire destroyed old Academic Hall except for the massive limestone columns. In August 1893, the Board of Curators voted to remove the columns, which they considered unsafe and unsightly reminders of the past. However, supporters of the columns rallied to their defense. A fight actually broke out between one such zealot and a curator. After inspection showed the foundations were safe, the board voted in December 1893 to retain them. The rest is more than history. In William Faulkner's words, the past is never really finished, it's never even really past. The classic architectural order specifically chosen for old Academic Hall was the Ionic style because it symbolizes wisdom, and preserving the columns has proven a wise and very Jeffersonian choice. Over a century later, they still connect passing generations of students and faculty. One of the best ways for Missourians to keep their heritage meaningful, it appears, is simply to keep it. Faulkner's dictum certainly applies to Jefferson's tombstone. When Jefferson's heirs decided to replace his vandalized original tombstone at Monticello, they received numerous requests for it. They selected the University of Missouri's petition as the first state university in the Louisiana Territory. The limestone marker, a national icon, now located near the chancellor's residence, arrived in July 1883. This obelisk on a rectangular base recalls in his own words Jefferson's role as founder of the University of Virginia, author of the Declaration of Independence, and of the Virginia Statute of Religious Freedom. Interestingly, though, the inscription ignores his momentous presidency. Jefferson's tenure witnessed two landmark events that transformed our country and Missouri life: the Louisiana Purchase, this country's greatest territorial acquisition, and the legendary Corps of Discovery led by Lewis and Clark. However, deeply troubled by the intense public outcry about his trade embargo to curb British and French violations of American shipping and to promote American self-reliance, Jefferson declared his presidency a splendid misery best forgotten. In so doing, however, Jefferson excluded a big piece of our revolutionary puzzle. To his dismay, few Americans even then would sacrifice consumer choice for self-reliance, a building block of economic independence. Many Missouri communities now struggling with lost jobs and declining tax bases face the same choice. We may be forced to rewrite Jefferson's epitaph with our own choices about the economics of the American dream. We Missourians still struggle with the revolutionary question of how we should live on the land. Fortunately, Francis Quadrangle also contains another piece of our revolutionary puzzle. Jefferson Memorial Garden on the west side of the Chancellor's residence features a variety of flowers such as cardinal flower, columbine, Virginia bluebells, sweet shrub, and rose of Sharon, found in his experimental gardens at Monticello. Jefferson's garden is the heart of a Missouri's revolutionary landscape, an heirloom seed itself awaiting transplantation. Jefferson's garden recalls nature's importance in Jefferson's worldview. He wrote, "No occupation is so delightful to me as the culture of the earth, and no culture comparable to that of the garden." Jefferson argued that the best thing one could do for the new republic was add a new plant to its agriculture, like the grapes and eggplant he introduced at Monticello. Like many Enlightenment philosophers, he argued that only agriculture produced real wealth, and those who labor in the earth are God's chosen people, if ever he had a chosen people. Agriculture meant much more than food for Thomas Jefferson. It meant American culture itself. As I sit in Jefferson's garden, that future seems long ago, but his dream landscape comes alive each October at the Chestnut Roast, hosted by the University Center for Agroforestry. The center focuses on the very Jeffersonian idea of finding productive new uses for plants like chestnut trees, which are well adapted to Missouri's demanding environment. Thousands of Missourians attend this annual event overlooking the beautiful Missouri River Valley to learn about sustainable agriculture, sample Missouri food products and wines. Jefferson himself was a renowned viticulturalist, view progress on restoration of the 1818 Hickman House, and enjoy Missouri folk arts. Jefferson, by the way, was a fine country fiddler himself. It's as if Mr. Jefferson's garden sprang to life. Jefferson regarded gardens as the middle landscape between nature and society, as well as the elusive balance between the past, present needs, and the desired future. Today, Missourians are asking the same questions about nature, work, and food that Jefferson's revolutionary generation once asked themselves. Jefferson's garden, at the heart of historic Francis Quadrangle, silently poses a revolutionary challenge to Missouri life. The past, you see, is never really finished.